Drugs? No, I had an amphetamine problem. I've always had an amphetamine problem. I don't do meth or crack. I've never had the opportunity. Um, Only till recently does that sound appealing. I always liked pharmaceuticals and alcohol, but alcohol I haven't drank since my fucking 30s. It doesn't agree with my body anymore. I'll drink like 2 tall beers and I'll be good. But no, don't let this motherfucker do the talking for me. He can't back it up, and everybody knows me. He ain't got any friends. Whoever's talking, everybody can back my shit up. I tell no tales. The tales I tell are all true. I mean, I don't know how amazing they are, but I got a lot of them. The fucking drugs. I mean, it all started with. It all started. I've been doing drugs since I was like 13, 14. And, it started like everybody else, marijuana. Back in my day, there was a lot. It was the end of the CIA's best run of fucking, and the military's best run of fucking LSD. We didn't know that was the end of the era. But in my day, it was blotter paper. We didn't have no fucking gel tabs. How antiquated am I? I'm dating myself here. Do you see that, though? We had blotter paper. And $5, man. Yeah, the acid was real in my day. It would rip your fucking psyche out because it did to me many fucking times up until the 90s. And acid is a beautiful drug. And so is mescaline, but be forewarned and be prepared because it'll tear your fucking head off. You want to go to Cartoon Land and see fucking Disney characters and shit for real? Take some mescaline. You will. Shit will turn literally into what do they call that? In the 60s when they started painting things to, for lack of color, they started painting black and white pictures. That's what it's like. It was insane. I had this girlfriend that was totally trippy. She was the original pretty trippy bitch. And she used to get on like Mindspring and Microsoft fucking internet back in the early 90s and chat up these pharmacologists in California. Yeah. And she could because she had the gift of gab. She started getting shit through the mail. And then she went out there to meet the one guy when we broke up. And I thought it was funny as hell. And she could barely go through with it because she thought he was so fucking ugly. Because back then, it was so early on the internet, it was just bulletin boards. She didn't know what he looked like. But she knew it was about drugs, and that's what she did. She got heavily into methamphetamine and psychedelics and monkey tranquilizer and amphetamine, and it was a go. And what they did to her out there in California, because they're such nice fucking people, it seems like. In New York, they'd let you die in the street. But they all collectively pooled their money and sent her back to New York because her mother turned her back on her again in a series of, who's this girl outside of my house looking at clothes? Wait a fucking minute. Ooh, who the fuck are you? With a little dog like that? Get in this house, woman. Stop all that yakety yak. Get the fuck in here and fry this steak for me. Get in here, bitch. Oh. Yeah, but what was I saying? It's like a 13-year-old girl out there with her mother, and I just want both of them. My dick. You need to control yourself. There's something fucking wrong with you. These are desperate times, baby. And so she would do that, and she came back, and she'd always try to get into our club where we rehearsed in the back of this head shop, and we didn't let her in because we thought she was too loud. She was like Nancy Spungen. She was exactly like that, but really smart. So was Nancy. But she was just like Nancy Spungen, and we'd be like, no, don't let her in. Do not let her in. And then she'd get in, and she seduced me on fucking, during Oktoberfest on J Street with 8 hits of mescaline that I accidentally took. And, yeah. But I remember in the early 90s, we were getting this watered down, super light version of this orangey black cake that was what we didn't know what the fuck dimethyltryptamine was. But we lived above a health food store and we're like, how do we smoke this? Because we weren't base coke smokers. We didn't know that shit. And it was totally legal at the time. Terrence McKenna was still alive. And I didn't know what this shit was. She's like, if you smoke this, supposedly you can go into the dome and talk to the elves and chat. And I remember sitting there for the first time smoking that shit with my 22.7 fucking baud rate modem dialing into Kmart's blue light free internet because I couldn't afford AOL. And take it, and we would go down to the health food store and buy this flowery shit that you can burn. You know, if you wanted to smoke hash or something, or if you wanted to smoke pills or chemicals, you put it on this flowery shit. I forget the name of it. And you just put it in your bowl. And we loaded a bowl with this and put this orange cake on top of this shit called DMT. And yeah, I remember I was sitting in a big blue swivel chair from the 70s, and I fucking fell out of it. As far as we knew, it wasn't even a drug yet. But the shit and it was like super watered down. But she would get drugs like that, and this was like during 1999, 2000. And that's what we would do. I mean, because, you know, she was a college person. She was a published writer, too. So she got around in these circles that I didn't. And all her boyfriends used to fucking hate me. But they had good drugs. These gay dudes and these other dudes that were trying to fuck her. And that's what we did. And I remember that's the last time I got good acid on bladder. Well, the last good acid I had was on gel tab, but most of the time it was on bladder paper. And it would just rip your fucking head off. They put rat poison in it to cut it with and speed. And I think I fell in love with amphetamine the first time I took acid when I was like 12 or 14. I can't remember. And all of a sudden, my friends were saying, it feels like I got an electric cattle prod in me. I feel electric. I can't stop gritting my teeth. That's the amphetamine. And then your stomach, when you take bladder paper, back in our day, they since don't have that anymore for these ravers and shit. But you'd get this searing pain in your stomach because it was bloating you out, the rat poison. Yeah. And I remember falling in love with like poisons early on, and that's essentially what drugs are. But the drugs I liked were literally laced with poison, like that. And I'll never forget that feeling. The first time I took dextroamphetamine in tablet form, it reminded me of acid. I'm like, it feels like there's a fucking electric current running through my blood. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so thirsty, but I cannot get the faculty of mind to stop, open the refrigerator, and procure a beverage. Therefore, I'll just talk for 6 fucking hours. Or play guitar for 6 hours straight. My girlfriend's like, okay, it's enough fucking guitar, please. Stop it. I want to listen to Nirvana. That was my life, though. These days, it's not. The weed isn't even what the fuck. You got to go to a specialist just to get retro weed, like I do. A guy that grows this shit. Because it's like this shit on the street is like, this ain't even weed. It don't smell like weed. It doesn't look like weed. It looks like some. And, you know, we all grew up with those fake fucking ads in the back of High Times, like Kava, Waka, marijuana synthetic, rush hour. It'll get you there. And you're like, how hard are times on the boulevard when you're going to spend 75% of your money on fake weed? And that's really just what it is these days. Marijuana's legal because there is no marijuana left. Whatever the fuck we're smoking, I doubt it's marijuana. Why do you think there's a hash shortage? Which happened in the past 5 years. It's like, really? Nobody can get any hashish? Don't you think don't tell me that the art of hashish has died out. You can't bang together some leaves and get some sticky fucking sticky cones from the fucking from the stigmas of these plants and create a good hashy blend for me to smoke, well then you ain't got any plants with THC. Tell me there ain't no hash. Yeah, but CBD oils and this and that. Yeah, but I'm talking about marijuana. Not some newfangled device to smoke what you're telling us is marijuana. This don't feel like marijuana. Smoke CBD oils and I don't even care. I want a bitch who loves her weed, who picks it up and examines it. This is indica strand. This is sativa. Smoke sativa. Got a big hashy kush kiff fucking jar in the back. My bitch. She cultivates the shit like a Rastafarian. You know what I mean?